Last week I came up with a categorization system for public transit riders. This was something I thought about while I was at a conference on public transportation, specifically the issue of transit exclusion, which is an issue in many towns and cities here in Poland, but also, as we know, in cities and towns across the world. And car dependence is a form of transit exclusion. As we know, having only one choice, that of the car, being bound to have to use a car and not having any access to other means is a form of transit exclusion. So anyway, I was thinking about different categories of public transit ridership. In my mind, really tinkering with the categorization system with messaging and marketing in mind. So my categorization system is as follows. If this is on LinkedIn, I've included a link to the post I made earlier today, one of the second posts with the category system that I hope to do a lot with. If this is on Instagram, you can just look through my older posts and see the categorization system, which is as follows. 1, the non-riders don't ever ride. 2, the skeptics may have ridden a bit, but generally are skeptical about public transit. 3, the default riders, those riders who really, they don't care about sustainable mobility. They're riding, it's just the default option. Maybe they would even love to use a car if they could. That's default to 3. 4 is the common sense riders, and 5, the passion riders. So I think about these categories a lot with marketing in mind because I'm always talking to people about mobility, always talking about public transit, sometimes with ones, total non-riders. I've had a lot of conversations with ones who don't know that I research mobility. I have a lot of conversations all the time with passion riders and with some common sense riders. I think twos are super interesting because the skepticism shows a potential for change, right? They're not quite as stubborn as the ones. And also, really importantly, for me, this system is for use in a city like where I'm at, Warsaw, where there are many and diverse options. Yes, there will always be people who criticize there's not enough frequency on one bus, there's definitely not enough metro lines. I believe the city has more lines coming. They're looking to go from 2 to 5. So there's always going to be some level of criticism probably. But real talk, Warsaw does have diverse and frequent options, buses, trams, a subway system. It does have 2 lines, so looking to expand, I believe. Buses, trams, subway, and urban rapid rail. So this system that I'm thinking about and working on is really for use in a city like this, where, for example, in this neighborhood, just saw a bus go by, the tram lines are not far away, you can get a bus connecting to the metro, there's a urban rapid rail train station, not a long walk away from here, but still, there's a lot of cars. There's a lot of people who wake up and make the decision to drive rather than go to the bus stop, rather than, hop on the tram. So, that's partly what my research is all about, mobility choice and decisions people make from the choices they have available. Why is it that in, for example, my building in an urban neighborhood setting, some people choose to, go downstairs, walk out the door, and hop on a bus, while some other people choose to take the elevator down to the basement garage and drive their car, maybe to the same exact district that the other person is going to. So looking at people's choices and the whole psychology behind them. And of course, I'm about change. I'm not interested in research just to collect data or for isolated purposes. I actually want to help affect change and contribute to the acceleration of the sustainable mobility shift. And I think that's where the media and awareness component comes in, and helping to educate on why this shift is important, how our decisions do play a role in climate action and sustainable urban development. So I definitely am often thinking about how messaging can be catered to those 5 different groups. communicating to a non-writer is a really different experience to communicating with a 5, you know? I believe there is some messaging that can connect with all categories, but I do believe that some campaigns should really be crafted with different groups in mind too, and I'm really excited to use that 5 category system to tinker around some more. And for sure, I know that such systems have already been developed, probably in many languages and many countries, and I do look forward to digging around and getting inspired by what other people have developed as well in terms of public transit ridership categories. But I really wanted to take the opportunity to tinker around myself in my own mind first, and from my own experience communicating with people on really a near constant basis about public transit, why people are passionate to ride, or why they simply make the choice. Common sense riders, I say they're not like passion riders. They're not like completely gung-ho about the commuting experience by public transit and super excited about public transit. It's a common sense decision, much like for default riders too. And then also for the 1s and the 2s, what are the biases and perceived barriers that's blocking them from choosing public transit? Sometimes those barriers are perceived, they're not real. Sometimes the biases are real deep. Public transit can be real stigmatic for a lot of people. And then the lack of experience means those biases remain. So sometimes if given the chance to ride, those biases can be broken down. Not only that, you could have a lifestyle shift, realizing, oh, I could spend my commute reading a book. I could spend my commute catching up on emails on my phone. I could spend my commute just daydreaming and looking out the window. I could spend my commute relaxing. So kind of just looking at the routines we develop for ourselves and what can shift us out of that, what can nudging behavior, what can inspire that modal shift. Anyway, have a great weekend. Happy walkable weekend.